Alrighty, good Tuesday morning, Mid-Michigan. I'm First Alert meteorologist Matthew Mondro here with just another check-in on your First Alert forecast as we look ahead here into this last week of October. So of course, Halloween's still one of the big days coming up here at the end of the week on Friday. We've been keeping a close eye on the Halloween forecast, and some good news is that the Halloween forecast has remained unchanged so far in our forecast this morning. So things are still holding pretty steady for Friday as of right now. But we'll go ahead and take a look at our latest headline in the forecast too, especially in regard to our rain chance on Thursday. So we're still tracking a system there for Thursday. Now that system has been slowly shifting to the east just a little bit more, and that is something that we have been mentioning here in the forecast, is that there is some potential for some shifts out of this system because Hurricane Melissa in the Atlantic right now is still actually steering the system a little bit more too. All of these systems and the jet stream all work together in our atmosphere. We essentially call the atmosphere fluid. It's all behaving like a fluid, so that's why the hurricane actually does have some influence on the system that'll be passing by here. So again, still keeping a rain chance in the forecast, but it is definitely looking very low. So I'll go ahead and show you the First Alert hour by hour. So this is a bit more of a zoomed out view. This is by Wednesday evening, so we're still dry by Wednesday evening, but that rain is developing to our south, and then we see that low actually moving up to the north towards Ontario. So by Thursday morning, there's going to be some rain falling in New York and Pennsylvania and Ohio. But notice in mid-Michigan here, still pretty dry, though we will be holding on to the cloud coverage as we go into Thursday morning. Now we'll start to zoom back in a little bit here. This is by about noon on Thursday. Notice some of those showers starting to sneak back in there from the east, but it's really still mainly a chance for the thumb, and then eventually this system will start to taper off as we go over into our Thursday evening. This right here is at about 6 o'clock, so any of the rain that even does end up making it here should be out of here as we head past dinner time on Thursday. Now, one thing I do want to check in here is the latest run of the First Alert hour by hour. So that run I was showing you there is one from earlier this morning. Our latest run has actually just come in pretty much right at the start of this 10 o'clock hour. So you viewing this here with me, this is our first time seeing this too. So it will be interesting to see what this shows. But as we go towards Wednesday, still seeing dry weather on Wednesday, even into the evening. And actually it's looking a little bit clearer into the evening in regard to the cloud coverage. But here we are into Thursday. So notice how that system coming in from the south, it kind of almost seems like it runs into a wall. I'll kind of play that through again. Notice it reaches Metro Detroit and just kind of can't really get past Detroit or Lake St. Clair, so it is running into a little bit of dry air there as well, but this is by Thursday morning, so the latest hour by hour is still supporting that dry weather. Now, as we go towards noon on Thursday, we still see the rain off towards the east, so this is still, at least so far, holding up with what we have been seeing in a lot of our other guidance as well. And then as we go into the afternoon and the evening, looks like that rain still very much struggles to come into mid-Michigan. So even the latest hour by hour, which has just come in within about the last 30 minutes, that is now also supporting a lower rain chance on Thursday. So I'll show you more of the zoomed in view of this. We'll fast forward this all the way up to Thursday morning. See there, Thursday morning, just some clouds coming in from the east, and then as we go towards noon on Thursday, still cloudy to the east. However, we do have the rain holding off even farther east, and then we even have some sun coming in. And that's one thing too that I do want to point out for Thursday specifically, is if you're towards the west, Mount Pleasant, Clare, Harrison, Houghton Lake, and I'd even argue almost Gladwin, Beaverton, or Midland, you actually do have a chance that you still could have a decently sunny day on Thursday. I don't think it'll be quite as sunny as today has been and as yesterday was too, but still I think you could see a little bit of sun coming in there. And then as we go into the afternoon, notice how that rain really struggles to reach its way into mid-Michigan. So this system just continues to slide to the east a little bit more, which is lowering that rain chance. So I think the big takeaway here as of this point is on Thursday, if you're in the thumb, still at least be prepared for a few light showers. But if you're outside of the thumb, really I don't think you'll have to be too concerned about any rain at all on Thursday. So if you do have some plans on Thursday, maybe you're still looking to do some yard cleanup, or you're just going to a local cider mill, or doing some last minute pumpkin picking too, I think you'll still have a pretty decent day on Thursday if you're anywhere outside of the thumb. It'll pretty much just be like the last few days though, with that northeast breeze, and that breeze has been a little bit stronger. So today we still expect gusts up to about 25 miles per hour, and we should still hold on to a very similar breeze like that even as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. So as far as the rain chance goes, again, definitely something that is on the lower end for Thursday. So if you do have any outdoor plans there, I think most of us outside of the thumb will still be okay. Now I know Halloween is still one of the big days that we're looking ahead to for later on this week. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that after we take just a short pause here for 1 minute. Alrighty, welcome back. We're going to be taking a little bit of a closer look at the Halloween forecast that we have coming up for Friday. And the good news too, if you are prepping for Halloween this Friday, whether you're taking your kids out trick-or-treating, maybe you plan on handing out some candy too, it certainly actually still looks decent. I'd say it's going to be a typical fall day. It's not going to be extremely warm. It's not going to be the coldest Halloween that we've had either. And if you remember 2 years ago at Halloween 2023, we actually had some snow. We picked up half of an inch of snow here in Saginaw that Halloween. So that definitely will not be the case for this Friday. But let's go ahead and take a look. So there's the trick-or-treating outlook that we have for Friday, essentially unchanged from what we were showing you yesterday too. So we have a temperature of about 46 as we head towards sundown. So that's more of your evening temperature. The actual high on Friday afternoon should reach up to about 51 degrees, but 46 by the evening. We'll have that northwesterly wind gusting to 20 miles per hour. So that takes wind chills closer to about 40. Some of our northern areas too, that means some wind chills could possibly even dive down into the upper 30s. So if you do have some plans for trick-or-treating, just be prepared for a little bit of a brisk evening there with that northwesterly breeze. So any trick-or-treaters will also definitely want to have an extra layer or two underneath those costumes. And that sunset does come in for us at 6:27 on Friday evening. And as far as that lake effect rain chance goes as well, really not seeing much of a rain chance for our area as a whole. With it being lake effect, of course, that does mean it is a little bit more of a isolated chance for us. So I definitely don't think that you'll need to be too concerned about the rainfall here either, unless you're in a place like Houghton Lake or Rose City. Up there you may encounter just a brief shower in the evening, but definitely does not appear to be a very good shower chance for mid-Michigan. But that's definitely the good news, because we do want that dry weather for our trick-or-treaters. And speaking of trick-or-treating as well, right on the homepage of WNEM.com, we do have a link there for trick-or-treating times across our area. I'll go ahead and click into that so you can go right onto our website. Right on the homepage there, WNEM.com, and we do have this article here that does show some of these trick-or-treating times for various communities and cities across mid-Michigan. So nice comprehensive list there. So if that is something that you are still looking to find the time for your community, we do have that available on our website. Now, as far as Halloween goes, of course, it's one of those holidays kind of like St. Patrick's Day, where the weather can really be hit or miss because of the time of year. It's a season of transitioning from warm to cold weather. Of course, we have had some of those warm Halloweens as well. So I'll go ahead and show you some of the extremes that we've had from Halloween in past years. So take a look at this. The warmest temperature we've had on Halloween recorded here in the Great Lakes Bay region was 79 degrees. That was in 1933, and then the coldest temperature that we've had was 19 degrees, and that was in 1925. So it's definitely been some time since we've had some of those record temperatures like that. But one of the rainiest Halloweens, that was in 2013, so we picked up a little bit over an inch of rain that day. And then, of course, that snowiest Halloween I was mentioning, so half of an inch of rain in 2023. And an interesting fact with that is really we haven't picked up, at least on our record books before that year in 2023, anytime it did snow on Halloween, it was technically either a trace or no snow at all, because it had actually melted before it was really able to accumulate. So kind of interesting there. It really didn't take much to break the record, but certainly something that you don't see every year when you have snow on Halloween. And then we do have the time change coming up this weekend too. So I wanted to break down some of these sunrise and sunset times. So today, that sunrise was 8:06 this morning, and our sunset today is 6:32 in the evening. And you may notice that somewhat sizable jump there by this weekend, but that's of course just because of the time change where the clocks go back 1 hour. So on Sunday morning, that new sunrise will be 7:12 in the morning, so we will definitely be gaining some sunlight back in the early morning. But then now that sunset on Sunday evening is going to be 5:25. So really is going to be feeling more like late fall by the end of this weekend. And that's also something to keep in mind for any of our deer hunters too. Of course, it is still bow season, so any deer hunters heading out, you'll now be able to get out there a little bit earlier on Sunday morning. But just bear in mind again that you'll have to end that hunt earlier on Sunday evening. Now 3 weeks from now, our sunrise will be 7:33 in the morning, and our sunset will be 5:08, and then by Thanksgiving, which is essentially a month from now, 5:02 for that sunset on Thanksgiving evening. The latest sunset that we have here in mid-Michigan generally is about, or rather the earliest sunset rather, is generally about 4:58 or 4:59, and that comes in right around the solstice, the winter solstice, right before Christmas, a few days before Christmas in December. So with the sunset there at 5:02 on Thanksgiving, we pretty much hold sunsets at right about that time for over a month, because as we head towards the solstice, it'll still be really only a few minutes different from that, and then even going into January, still very similar with those sunset times as well. But we're still losing about 2 minutes and 40 seconds of daylight every single day. So by Thanksgiving, a month from now, we'll have lost another hour and 8 minutes of daylight. And even just from today to this upcoming Sunday, when daylight saving time ends, we'll have lost about another 13 minutes of daylight as well. So certainly feeling like things are changing out there, noticing the shorter days, and also just noticing the earlier sunset, and you'll especially notice that as we go into Sunday with the time change coming up here. So all things to look forward to as we go into this last week, or rather go through this last week of October. Halloween, of course, one of the big things that we'll still be keeping an eye on as we go throughout the remainder of this week as well. And if anything does change with that, we will be sure to let you know, although I really don't think that we will be seeing much change to that forecast for Halloween, because the pattern is really starting to lock in, and things are pretty steady with the fact that we'll have that low missing us to the east on Thursday, and then we have the northwest wind taking over behind that on Friday. So I wouldn't really expect much change to that forecast, perhaps just fine-tuning those temperatures another couple of degrees. But if anything changes, we'll be sure to let you know. Stay tuned, because meteorologist Diane Phillips will have another update coming in for you at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And as always, you can keep tabs on the forecast with the TV5 First Alert Weather app and on our website too, WNEM.com, and you'll see a First Alert Weather button right at the top of the website, and that'll take you to the weather page. So I'll pop up that QR code for you here real quick. That is for the TV5 First Alert weather app. Certainly a good app to have. It is free as well. There's a live radar on the app, and that forecast gets updated every single day. We'll catch you again here on the live stream a little bit later at 2 o'clock with meteorologist Diane Phillips.